since like the before times.
Oh, okay. I thought you did them over FaceTime.
For all those other ones, it was remotely, so
Oh, okay.
I wasn't using FaceTime per se.
Okay.
In fact, I'm pretty sure you can't record FaceTime calls.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Yeah. So I've been using a service called Zencaster, which it records the audio locally on both ends so that it's not getting garbled through the internet.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not bad so far, but it still leaves something to be desired, you know?
Yeah, it's not the same thing as the before times, as you were saying.
Yeah, and for anyone listening, we are actually in person, but we're
social distancing.
We're trying to distance. I disinfected equipment. We are wearing masks.
You know what happened? Benson is trying to blind me.
What happened was I was trying...
No, don't defend yourself. We were trying to, be clean, and he went to spray the microphone, and my face was there. So I got a lot of it in my eyes. But, I can still see, so I'm still thriving.
She can see clearly now.
I can see clearly. It does burn a little bit, but you know what? I guess my eyes are very clean now, and... He did point out my glasses took majority of the hit. So to all the people who have suggested contacts, that's what saved me today. So Benson will be hearing from my lawyer, though. So.
Well, I mean, if you're wearing contacts, it does literally cover part of your eye, so it can prevent things from getting in your eye to a certain extent.
Like I think my glasses took
up to like maybe.
This.
What feels like half a millimeter past your iris or something like that.
You know a lot about contacts.
I mean, because I'm wearing them right now, and based on.
Can I spray you as a test? just to see what would happen. Contacts versus glasses. What protects your eye better?
We'll have to make a TikTok about it.
Make a TikTok
afterward.
Okay.
So
let's reenact it where I do it to you. I thought it was hand sanitizer at first. I felt the spray, and then I went, wait, was that hand sanitizer? And Benson panicked a little bit because he did not realize just how close I was to the mic. But it's okay. We're going to move past it.
Well, we're friends, Ciara. What are friends for? Who don't occasionally endanger the other's life.
It's okay. Yeah, I've learned that when driving with my friends. There have been a few times where, we did some dangerous things, but we survived, so it's okay. Sometimes, at night, you do accidentally go in the wrong lane, but it's okay as long as you survive,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
I'm a good driver, I swear. It's just Connecticut roads, at night where there's no lighting. Yeah.
What kind of Connecticut road are you talking about?
We were in Manchester, and my friend, for whatever reason, he turned the GPS off, and I'm absolutely awful at navigating, and I don't really go.
Wait, so you were driving, and then someone else turned the GPS off?
Yeah, so because we were looking for a gas station because my friend had to use the bathroom, and the Wendy's was closed.
Yeah.
That we first went to, so we're like, oh, we'll go to the one down the street or whatever. And I'm so used to having the GPS on, and I saw the turn. It was one of those lanes where it's not really clear where it starts and where it ends. There was an overlap.
Yeah.
So I'm turning, and then my friends scream, and I was like, oh no. But there are no cars, so it was fine. We made it to the gas station. We survived. It happens. I am a good driver. If the GPS was on, this would not have happened.
I like to think of myself as a good driver, and I guess that makes sense in terms of where I'm usually driving, which is semi-city, small-town Connecticut.
Yeah.
But, I remember times when, I would be going to, Waterbury or New Haven to do something.
Oh, God, New
And
Haven.
then realizing, oh, wait, metropolitan traffic exists, and it's a pain in the ass.
I'm much better at small-town traffic. I hate when, I get in those situations where it's super narrow and there's just a bunch of cars on the side of the street. That freaks me out, so...
if it's huge... wide road.
Yeah.
But there's at least 4 different lanes and it's a one-way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you have to figure out, you have to play a game of Snake to figure out, well, if all these are one-way, that means if I want to get over here, I have to go on this street, but then turn on to this, and then turn on to this one because they're all one-ways, right?
Yeah. I used to really hate driving, but now I'm the primary driver because I'm the only one with a car on campus. So I am.
You're the only person on the entire campus with a vehicle?
No, Benson, with my friend group. I know. I need to specify. In my friend group, I am the only one with a car. So I'm the one who drives everywhere. But that's okay. I've grown to like driving. I have a Beetle. It's very cute.
What color is your Beetle?
It's black.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. My dad's wife gave me it because she was getting like a Jeep or something. So it's a very nice car.
For people who haven't listened to Ciara's first episode, she's referring to her father's wife, who is not her mother.
Yeah, no. Well, they got married in 2018, and like I'm an adult, so I'm not gonna call her. Yeah,
your stepmother.
Yeah, no. My grandma tried to do that one time, and Heather. No offense, it's just I call you Heather. You know, that's your name. Like, I guess technically you are by like legal standards, but you know,
a stepmother.
I guess I just call her my dad's wife, which does confuse people sometimes. So
like.
I get it. I forget that I have to explain that sometimes.
Yeah, and like sometimes it's like like there's such like when you refer to say like if a guy referred to her wife's brother or something like that, it'd be like, you mean your brother-in-law?
Yeah.
But it's like it could be your wife's sister's or spouse or
You're
something
confusing
like
yourself.
Like I saw there was this there's this content creator on YouTube named Austin McConnell.
Okay.
And he was just like offhandedly saying something about like a few jumps in terms of relationships, like his wife's brother or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And I can't remember the exact relationship, but like everyone in the comments was like, "You mean like brother-in-law?" And like it was not. It was clearly not that. He made an entire video explaining to people, not my brother-in-law, but it's like his wife's like sister's spouse, sort of like that. So like the smallest distinction that actually does make sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
But when you hear like the initial wording of what he said in like the first video, it was like, wait, don't you mean brother-in-law, you dumbass?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have a really complicated family tree. So I have sometimes I just say family members. So I live with my aunt and uncle. And I obviously have both my parents and they're divorced. So like technically my uncle is my dad's brother. And then my aunt technically is like not related to them, but she has a whole other side of the family who I know and like I go to their house and stuff. But it's so difficult to explain that to people. So I'm at the point where I just say family member because they'll be like, what do you mean by that? And it's just...
Or just say relative or something like that.
Yeah, I usually just say relative because, you know, I don't have the time to go into my very complicated family tree. So, you know, sometimes
sometimes
the easiest.
It gets even, like, family trees are already complicated enough.
Yeah.
But when you introduce, like, blended families...
Oh, yeah. It brings in a whole nother layer.
Like, then it turns into, what? Well, you mean your aunt's brother's father's uncle, and then wait, no, you mean, well, there's that one. That's one branch.
I know, and they try to correct you. Yeah, and it's like, no, I know my family.
But then it's like, wait, do you mean the step branch, this step branch, or the other step branch, or this blood branch?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I know, and people try to correct me, and I'm like. Most of the time, I'm like, I don't even have the patience to correct you, so I'm gonna let it slide.
And then there's this half, and then there's this half branch.
Yeah.
And then this half step branch.
Oh my god, I know.
And then this half step branch by marriage.
I know. I'm like, oh god, my mom, if she gets married again, that's gonna add even a whole nother layer. That'll be fun.
So what we need to do is have people stop marrying each other,
right?
And also stop reproducing, so that we can not further complicate family trees.
Exactly. Just do it just for me.
Right.
Specifically for me. Do it for me. And so I don't complicate.
Or in your particular family.
I know. I had a doctor one time and she made me like draw a family tree for her because like she didn't understand it. And she was like just planning it out. And I was like, wow, this is really complicated.
It's like,
And my friends do the same thing because I'll just mention someone and they'll be like, who exactly is that? And I'm like, oh God, now I have to go through the whole thing again because, so technically, I live with my cousins because I live with my aunt and uncle, but it's so much easier to just call them my siblings. And like, I've lived with them so long that they basically are. But like, sometimes that comes up in conversation and I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, technically they're my cousins, but like, these are my brothers and my sister. Like, because I have one older sister, but yeah, which complicates things even further. So
I'm hoping that there's like, since you are Latina, there might be...
No, that's what makes it difficult because I'll say something about being Peruvian and then I have to be like, yeah, well, my siblings aren't because technically they're not my siblings.
Right.
Because this is my dad's side of the family.
Right.
Yeah, my mom's side is the Peruvian side.
What I'm trying to say is I'm hoping there's like weird hyphenations of names.
No, there's not. That's what makes it difficult.
But I imagine the clusterfuck of a family tree if there's like someone with a hyphenated last name, so two names from their parents hyphenated, and then like they marry and reproduce with someone else who also has a hyphenated name, and then they decide to hyphenate their hyphenated names.
That'd be like
so that it's 4 last names all hyphenated together.
Yeah, that would be a little bit rough, not gonna lie. So I'm glad that has not come about. So
if it were up to me, I would do it for the joke.
The joke, you do it for the laugh.
I would do it for the lulz.
Yeah, the lulz. It's been a long time since I've heard that word. So,
like, would you? I mean, because like even though like on a practical level that might be like a headache in terms of
just a tad bit
legal documents or whatever.
Yeah, just a little.
I feel like it might be worth it for the lulz.
I think,
to hyphenate 4 names.
Maybe for the parents, not for the kids. Not for the kids who have to suffer through that. I'm glad I just have one last name because, that'd be a little rough. It'd be a little rough to fit in.
Oh my God. Imagine if, like if you're from like Mexico or something.
No,
and
that's the thing. The last names are so different.
And no, but also like it seems like there's a trend in like Latin American, Central American countries where the naming of children is like this whole string of names. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, no. So, like, it does the same thing for, so my Bisa, which is my great-grandmother, her name was Olga Maria, and then my grandmother's name is Maria Olga, and my mom is Olga Maria. So, there's, like, a trend of that. And then in Peru, like, a lot of them have 2 last names as well. So, it's a little different there. I'm glad I don't have 2 last names, though. Sorry, Mom. It would just be a little confusing. Because they're so opposite sounding, because my mom's maiden name is Arbulu.
Yeah.
And my dad's name is Herget. So it's like, those just sound completely different too. Like you could just tell it's 2 totally different cultures.
Yeah. But like I'm referring to like when you have like the first name that the person, like that's their given name.
Yeah.
But then there's like 8 other names.
Oh,
and
I know
then
what you
their last
mean.
name.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Imagine if half of those names were also hyphenated with another name attached to it.
I don't even want to imagine. What did you say earlier? The clusterfuck? Yeah.
The clusterfuck of a family tree.
Yeah, I don't want to imagine that. That'd be like, a little wild.
Imagine if you want this like family tree to be complete and accurate, you'd have to spell, like write out everyone's entire birth name.
Oh my gosh.
Like all the names, all 12 names that are in someone's name.
All 12 names.
Plus the hyphenated names if there are hyphenated.
Yeah, imagine I'm marrying someone with a hyphenated name. That's like, you just can't win.
No.
Yeah. Imagine that on like a diploma. Like you just have like 12 of those names. Like, no, I can't imagine that.
Hello, Dean. You wanted to see me? Yeah. This, your degree application. I don't think we can fit your name on the diploma.
Yeah, you're gonna run out of space. Like sometimes Herget is really tiny, but like I've run out of space before, like on things for it. I'm like, it's just 6 letters. Like that's very tiny.
For just the last name?
Yeah. So actually, when I played soccer in high school, I like made this customized pair of cleats because I had the money to, and I was like, I'm gonna go wild with it because this is my first job and I'm gonna buy it. And I wanted to put my last name, but it was like a 5-character limit. So I could put my first name, but I was like, this is kind of annoying. Like, this is a short last name. So.
I thought you meant for like, in that case, it's like the matter of real estate on the back of a jersey or something. right?
No, they were like
Or-
cleats. So
or-
like, and I looked at when I got them, I looked at the bottom and I'm like, they totally could have fit it. I would understand like if it was like 10 letters.
I mean, do you imagine how much work it takes to put text onto like a shoe?
Yeah, that's fair. But don't judge me, I did pay $170 for them. In my defense, it was my first job. I had made a lot of money and I needed new cleats and they matched like my uniform. So you know what? I was like, I'm going to go crazy. I'm just going to buy it.
At first, I thought you were going to say something about like running out of room for like legal documents. I'm like, what kind of documents are you filling out where they don't have room for 6 letters
No.
for your last name?
I did have a friend though. One of my good friends growing up, his last name was Sifidaskalakis. He ran into that problem, which is a super, super unique last name and very, very long.
Yeah.
So I didn't experience that.
I think one time I might have tried to fill something out.
Yeah.
But my last name was too short. Like I think that.
Oh yeah, because it's 4 letters.
I'm pretty sure that's a problem for some people because like if your last name is like Ng, Ng.
Yeah.
Like there are some forms in like on websites on programs that might not recognize a couple of letters.
What do you do for that?
Like you try to call them up, like it's not accepting my name.
This is my last name, I swear.
Like I sure for shit know what my name is.
It's on my birth certificate.
And
it is enough.
This is how many letters long it is.
Yeah.
So
that's funny. I never thought too short. That's crazy.
It's like you don't have enough name.
You don't have enough. Make it up. Come on. Snap, snap.
You need more name to go on this.
Oh my gosh. Just make it up.
Can I order more vowels?
Can I get a value, please? Vowel, please.
Can I get a value, please, of my name?
Please.
Apparently, it's not valuable enough to enter on this form because it's too short.
Capitalism said no. It's not marketable enough.
I need more letters.
Yeah. 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 Capitalism says nope. That's not marketable. So we're not. It's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it.
I mean, you could say it's like that could be like a subconscious racism within the form. Where it's
that's what I mean, because a lot of foreign names are like that. So it's really weird to me that they would do that. But I mean, that's America.
But then imagine if someone has a very white name.
White.
But it just happens to be very short.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, don't do this to me.
I really can't think of any that are that short. I'm trying to think of the basic ones. Like Johnson's really basic, right? Like Smith. I can't really think of any. Most of my friends are Latino, and I have like 2 Jamaican friends, so they don't have white last names.
We're not going to spend the next 20 minutes trying to think of names for this.
I'm trying to think of. You said white last names.
Very
and
white names.
Oh my gosh.
That.
See, now you have me thinking about just last names in general.
Do you you ever thought about not having a last name?
I did. No, I was thinking about that during this conversation because wasn't it like only rich people used to have last names?
I think, was it?
I'm pretty sure. Like if you own land or like you were royalty.
Based on our very limited knowledge as a couple of college students.
Oh my god.
Dumb college students.
Yeah.
Let's try to trace this.
Okay.
So like way back when, people only had first names, right?
Yeah.
And then, but like there were like titles like Alexander the Great or Catherine the Great.
We should go back to that.
Or stuff like that. Or like you're just like King Louis the 16th.
Yeah.
He didn't have like a last name.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, technically the royals today still don't.
Yeah. But then like I think around there at some point people started getting last names like based on their vocation.
Yeah.
Baker. Smith
very very
in terms
original.
of like blacksmith, or like Williamson because they're son of William, right?
Oh my gosh, brilliant, good job, guys. Good job. Hundreds of years ago, you guys are so smart.
But like, but now it's like we've moved into the age of people having a given and a surname, right?
Yeah,
and it makes me think about like, what if you didn't want to have a last name? Like the guy from Penn and Teller, the guy Teller, he's legally speaking, he's Teller.
Really?
He's just Teller.
Interesting.
At some point in his life, he changed it to just Teller.
Good for him. I guess I don't know how you would go about doing that. I mean, having a last name is kind of, I don't know, it's not really a drag, but I guess if you have a unique name, you can do that. But
yeah, like it makes me think of a lot of like musical artists.
I was just
like
thinking that
Prince, Madonna,
Halsey,
people,
Ciara,
yeah,
Beyonce.
Ciara,
yeah, I know.
yeah, and like
my I would like it to be noted that my name is technically the correct pronunciation. It's the Irish pronunciation.
in terms of the original Irish pronunciation.
Yeah, it comes
right?
from, I think the male version's like Kieran or something.
Yeah, and in the show notes I wrote KEER-uh HUR-giht in parentheses, still pronounced KEER-uh
Oh my
HUR-giht.
gosh. Yeah.
Returns to the podcast.
Yeah, a lot of people mess up on the pronunciation.
And I think I think about like if I want to like be a musician and like put stuff out. Do I want to be just a one name person?
What would your one name be? Would you just be Benson?
Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like that could be cool.
Because
depends on the music you make.
I don't know yet. My record's yet to come out. Because like I've had conversations with other people about like stage names, and the terrible ideas I had for stage names when I was young. Because I was
Can I
thinking,
hear one of them? Do you have?
Because like back in high school, I thought about trying to roll my influences into a name.
Yeah.
So like John Paul Dylan, which is the widest name ever.
Yeah, that would not fit.
That would not fit. But also like Ben, shorten my name to Ben.
I just
Dylan.
can't see you as a Ben.
No.
No.
And now I'm thinking like, well, do I want Ty? My last name Ty.
Yeah.
I mean, it could work.
Yeah.
But I don't. I feel like the reason you want to make a mononym for yourself is because that particular name is not very common.
You're the only Benson I know, so I feel like just Benson could work.
Yeah, and in terms of that, it's because like Benson is where you've seen a few people with the last name Benson.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm one of maybe a handful of people I feel like in the entire world who has Benson as a first name.
Yeah, I've never met another Benson before you, so I think that could work.
I found one though.
It's unique. You did?
Yeah, his exact name is Benson Ty.
No.
He's a guy living in California who's an architect.
Psych. No way.
He's an architect.
The exact same name.
Benson Ty. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a middle name, so it's the same as mine.
You don't have a middle name?
I don't have a middle name, no.
That's wild.
So I'm thinking, Ty, it could work, but I'm not feeling it. Benson.
I'm feeling Benson.
Benson.
Yeah.
That might work.
Yeah, I think that could work.
And especially because I don't, like when you see someone and it's just their name as the artist's name.
Yeah.
You're thinking like, oh, they're like a singer-songwriter kind of, because it's just their name, right?
Yeah, they're artsy.
Yeah, but you ever heard of an artist named Saint Vincent?
I have not. No.
She's this. Her real name is Annie Clark.
Okay.
Right, and she makes weird kind of music, like noisy rock, art rock kind of stuff. But when you look at her, it's white girl from Dallas, Texas.
Oh my gosh.
Very thin.
Yeah.
Like
just what you would picture.
Petite white girl from Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And part of the reason why she didn't want to be writing or creating music under her birth name of Annie Clark is because like she doesn't want to be a like acoustic-y singer-songwriter kind of artist. So she came up with this moniker Saint Vincent. And then sometimes there's even like confusion between, wait, so is St. Vincent her stage name or is St. Vincent the name of the band that she plays in because she has backing musicians?
Yeah, that sounds more like a band name.
Yeah, so I'm thinking if I'm like caught between wanting to come up with something entirely new that doesn't sound close to my name so that I can hide behind it.
Yeah. Why would you want to hide behind it?
I don't know, because like maybe kind of like how, I don't know, like, you know when after Kurt Cobain died, Dave Grohl who was the drummer in Nirvana, for anyone who's not aware.
Yeah.
He was like, I still want to make music, but like, I don't know. I don't want to be anyone to like be paying attention to the fact that he was in Nirvana.
Yeah.
So he came up with a name Foo Fighters. So it was like,
yeah.
And he like played all the instruments. He wrote all the songs himself for the first Foo Fighters record.
Yeah.
So he wanted to make it sound like it's a whole bunch of people and like then that they're not related to Nirvana. Right?
Okay.
And so because I don't know, sometimes I feel like my identity as a musician is not, I don't know, sometimes I have a hard time thinking about deliberating on whether or not the musician part of me should be compartmentalized from the person part of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's so, like, any form of art is so deeply intertwined with you. I can't imagine just, like, being able to distance yourself from that.
I don't know, like, because...
Like, I know there's pen names and stuff, so...
Yeah. But, I don't know, like, if you were to look at me on the street and I'm not carrying around a guitar case, would you look at Benson and say he's a musician?
Definitely not.
Yeah. And so it's like,
But, like, I like artists like that where they have a different look, because it gets kind of boring seeing, like, every single musician, like, ends up looking the same and sounds the same.
Yes.
So, to me, I think it's cool when, like, you see someone, like, break out of that box.
Yeah,
so.
I don't particularly like modern country music.
I hate country.
Right?
I'm sorry to anyone listening, but I can't.
And part of it is, like, it all sounds the same. All the guys are named Luke.
Oh, my God.
And, like, they're just, like, talking about the same shit
It's
over
like,
and over again.
God bless the troops,
right?
God bless God, beer, girls, all that
beer,
stuff.
tractors, girls.
Yeah,
right?
literally.
And, there's, so I don't think, maybe, do I want to have a name that doesn't exactly pigeonhole me into a thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if I just put my name, like, literally my name, it does lend itself to being, like, oh, he's probably, like, a singer-songwriter person.
Yeah.
But, like, that's likely not what I want to be.
Yeah, honestly,
right?
if I saw, like, the name Benson, I would think, like, singer-songwriter. That's
or
just the vibe.
You mean just the name Benson? Or you mean
if I just saw, like, not
Benson
your full
Ty
name.
on a record?
Well, yeah, if I saw that, yeah, I'd probably... I don't know what I'd think of that. I know if I saw Benson, I'd think, like, singer-songwriter. I don't know. That's just the vibe I'm feeling right now.
And so I'm thinking, well, because I think, at least for... If I'm putting together a mononym, like if I were to just go by Benson,
yeah,
right, that could be enough, just enough,
yeah,
to like allow me license to do what I want without being pigeonholed. But if I were to just go by my actual name, Benson Ty, that is more like it would more reduce me.
Poor Benson Ty in California.
Yes.
When you make it big, we're gonna manifest. So I'm gonna say when. When you make it big, he's not even gonna be able to look up his own name.
How do you make it big as an architect? Build big buildings?
No, but I'm saying, like, maybe he just wants to look. You've never done that where you just look up your name to see.
Well, I mean, that's how I found this guy.
Yeah. See, so like you see who you are, but then when you make it big, if you type in Benson Ty, he's just not gonna be there. It's just gonna be.
Well, I mean.
I also think, like, just Benson sounds cooler, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. But, and I guess, well, if they're going to look for Benson Ty, the architect, I feel like if anyone is Googling Benson Ty, the architect, they're going to put architect
Okay, but you know what happens
field,
to
right?
me? So because of the artist Ciara, even though I type my last name in, she still pops up.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Well, I think I might have a bigger web presence than the other Benson Ty.
Probably.
I might be. I think I have
Probably.
more pages to my name.
Like, I can find articles and stuff that I was in, but yeah, like, always a picture of her will still pop up. So, but that's okay. She's a great artist. I'm not complaining.
So you
there.
are a fan of Ciara?
I'm not a huge fan.
Okay.
I think she's talented, but
'Cause
I listen to show tunes, if I'm being honest. That's my main thing. I won't lie.
Because I have to admit, I can't remember what she does.
She did the one, I think, if I think she did If I Were a Boy. I think
that was Beyonce.
Never mind. She did. What did she do?
Exactly. Does anyone?
I feel like I've heard her sing something.
Someone in the comments, please let us know what exactly Ciara, the recording artist.
I'm so sorry. I thought
singer,
it was her who did
What is
Boy.
she known for? What has she done? Was she ever relevant?
I feel like she was
for a minute.
Yeah,
for
in
a minute.
2008.
But
I
like
feel
in
like she was big.
In the larger consciousness of like pop culture, I'm pretty sure she's not.
Yeah. But I mean, if you mention her, people know who she is. It's not like who's that? So
yeah, and then if someone says, "Well, have you heard of Ciara Herget?" First of all, people are likely to not have heard your name pronounced, so they would recognize the spelling of Ciara.
I've honestly started just responding to Ciara. So like when I pick up food, like I'll go to say my name and then I'll just be like Ciara. I went to do takeout with my friends for Red Robin like last weekend, and that's just what I've started doing. But even that got messed up because I told him it's Ciara, and then he's like, I can't find it. And then I figured out he was spelling it. He was thinking like with an S. So right. I really can't win with this. I can't.
Like,
so
then you have to like write in these special instructions, Ciara. It's pronounced Ciara, like the singer.
I just want to start giving fake names at this point.
Yeah, just give fake names.
I'm just going to start. I'll just give my middle name.
Like, I mean, if, like, say, I like the idea of giving fake names for the lulz so that, like, I'll write on a cup Steven Seagal. Or like, Cosmo Kramer. I don't know. Because, like, I know if I go to a party, I might... in an age when you can have parties in the before times.
Yeah, and I like how, before times.
If I were to go to a party, I would write on my cup, like whatever cup is mine.
Yeah.
In like Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Because I know no one else will be writing Steven Seagal on my cup. It doesn't have to be my name on my cup. I know it's my cup if it says Steven Seagal. That's
true. That is very true. Names are tricky. If I ever have kids, I'm giving them an easy to pronounce name because I mean, I've never thought of it exactly. I just know I will
Mike.
I just know I will give them an easy to pronounce name because while I do like my name and it is unique for the United States. I mean, if you go to Ireland, there's like a million Ciaras, but yeah. My parents wanted to be unique.
Oh my God!
Screwed me over with that one. When I explain the pronunciation, everyone's like, "Oh, that's so pretty," and I'm like, "Thanks," but no one knows how to pronounce it. So I get like Clara, Ciara.
Clara.
Yeah, because they think the I's an L. I've gotten Clara like quite a few times at this point. Okay. Yeah, just it's a mess.
Are you Clara? Claro.
I really just if I'm never gonna see them again, I kind of let it.
For anyone who doesn't speak Spanish, claro means sure. So the joke was like asking Ciara, "Are you Clara?" and then her saying sure.
Yeah. I mean, actually, this is kind of embarrassing. So I had a doctor for a little bit, and she would always call me Kiera. And it got to the point, or Ciara, she called me Ciara. And it got to the point where it was like too late to correct her that like I just didn't. So this was like 2 years when she was my doctor and I never corrected her because I felt too embarrassed to at that point. So like there was an episode like that in Friends where Chandler, like he knows this guy in the office and he just keeps avoiding him because he thinks his name is something else. And like that's literally what I did. I just let her call me that. Yeah. And I would try and like slip my own, like my name into conversation with the correct pronunciation. And like, it still just didn't work.
For my, I'm taking a film class this semester.
Yeah.
And it's completely remote.
Okay.
And the instructor, like we would be meeting like on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
You can see my name.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But for the longest time, she kept referring to me as Ty.
That's it. Oh.
And like I even on the first day I introduced myself by my name, and also like there was an early assignment where we introduced ourselves like in the discussion post.
Yeah.
Like, "Hi, my name is Benson" in the post.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling she looked at it.
Yeah.
Right, to like grade it.
She graded it. Yeah.
And it wasn't until like she like had to assign us like we're doing a thing where each week someone is a teaching assistant to introduce a movie we're watching
Yeah.
or something like that. It wasn't until she was like looking at the syllabus, assigning people's names to each week for a film that she took note
And realized that your name is
and talked to me.
Benson.
Like I think for the past few weeks I've been calling you Ty.
Oh my gosh.
I think, but I'm based on the information I have gathered. I think I'm fairly certain now that your first name is Benson.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I relate to that. I feel like I would do the same thing. I would just kind of give up. I mean, it reaches a certain point because I've had professors do the same thing. It reaches a certain point where I'm just like, you're not going to learn it. I've given up.
Yeah.
And it's not always their fault because I know they have like a bunch of students. So I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. If this isn't, it's different with like the English major though because we're like such a small group.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit easier. But if it's a gen ed, I typically don't correct because it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking like because we meet on Zoom every week.
Yeah.
For the film class, you see everyone's name.
Yeah, I really
on the
don't
thing.
understand how she got it wrong because it's literally your name is there.
Yeah, and like I'm pretty sure it's all in this, unless she thought like because I'm Asian, my last name goes first.
Oh, maybe
something like that.
Maybe that's what she thought.
But
like I can't see why she would think that because you literally put your first and last name.
Yeah, right.
So
I don't know.
well, at least she knows it now.
Yeah.
That's a plus. That's a major plus. Yeah. It's not fun having a name that no one knows how to pronounce. It's how I can tell though when someone actually, it makes me so happy when someone actually bothers to learn the pronunciation of my name, which is so little, but like, yeah, I literally have had like bosses who I know struggle with it.
Yeah.
So.
Or imagine if I know a few people who have names that are like they're just a bit unusual.
Yeah.
Or some are even like because they're unusual because like they're rather ethnic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they just like throw it out, make it some kind of Americanized diminutive form.
I can't really think of a nickname for mine. Like I had friends in high school who call me like Kier, but I don't really want a professor to call me that. So it's like I can't even really think of an actual nickname.
That's the
hard thing.
In your case, I feel like there's no such thing as a diminutive form of Ciara.
Yeah.
Or even Ciara.
Yeah, all my nicknames like really don't relate.
At least like in terms of my name, you drop off a syllable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you can't really do that for me.
Ciara. Or just Ruh.
Well,
hey,
oh
Ruh.
my gosh, no.
Hey, Ruh, what you doing?
I had two nicknames. So two of my friends in high school would call me Kier. And then I had this actually started when I was a toddler. So my brother, who's a year younger than me, like couldn't pronounce my name. So he'd call me Kiki. And that, I know, he'd call me Kiki. So that was fun. And then I forget how it came up in high school, but it did. So like I had a few friends who would do that. And I had this one friend, she would call me Keeks. So yeah, there was that. But that's not exactly a nickname. I'm going to be like, yeah, you can throw that out because my name is so hard to pronounce. So I've just kind of started to...
Keeks?
Keeks, yeah. It's a derivative of
hold on.
Kiki.
Wait, hold on. Keeks, if you were going to spell it phonetically.
Keeks. Yes.
Keeks.
Keeks. Yeah. She wanted to be original and like branch off with the Kiki. I know. I was just like, I just kind of let it roll because I was like, it's fine. It's kind of funny. So it was kind of funny. So like I let it slide. Yeah. Yeah. High school was a fun time. High school was so fun.
Now, I want to find like an equally diminutive form of my name that's like similar to that.
I'm going to try. I'm going to brainstorm now.
I don't think it could work because I don't think the first syllable of my name ends in the right kind of consonant to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Benz. Hey, yo, Ben.
Benny. That's as close as I think you can get.
I think
Benny?
like it's like Ben or Benny.
Yeah.
Which I don't really like Benny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like there's something about Benny that seems a bit
childish,
and also, to be honest, it reminds me of George Lopez's sitcom.
Oh God.
Also named George Lopez. His mother, they refer to her as Benny.
Oh, okay.
Short for Benita, right?
Okay.
And like, so that's stuck in the back of my mind, like Benny. But also, I don't know, like I use Benny in terms of like my Twitter handle or something because I named it after when I was rapping. And
wait a minute, you're a rapper?
I was for a bit. And in high
Bring
school.
it back, please. Bring it back, please.
Yeah, for a bit I was.
I want you to release a mixtape.
It was the MC Benny T. And
oh my gosh.
But because like there's like I like the idea of diminutive form of your first name and then the initial of your last name.
Yeah.
That you're like having that as a moniker for yourself if you were to do that.
Yeah.
But and I like using it for the rap career that ended before it started.
Oh my gosh.
But like I don't like the name Benny though.
Yeah. We'll think of one. We're English majors. We'll think of one. We'll brainstorm. We'll get there. We'll get there one day.
Or I don't know.
They just come to you naturally one day. Keeks just magically sprouted out. It just and it was only her who called me that, which is what made it even funnier.
What if you use that as like a pen name for stuff?
No.
To write stuff that you're not particularly proud of?
Oh, God.
To publish stuff you're not particularly proud of?
I can't imagine publishing anything I'm not proud of. That would make me upset.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. I get upset even turning in something like some works in because I know it's like not that good. So I get like stressed about it. So that's what I don't miss about, because I'm in a creative nonfiction, which honestly isn't too bad. I do like that class. But I felt so much pressure in playwriting because it was like.
What exactly is creative nonfiction?
So like memoirs and stuff.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So you're like writing about your own life.
That makes sense now.
Yeah. It's honestly pretty hard to write even though it's your own life because, I don't know, I've just found it difficult because like you have to make it interesting. Yeah,
you have to. There's a difference between an autobiography and a memoir.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's not aware, when we think of biography, it's like the facts of life.
Yeah.
The facts of this person's life.
Yeah,
right?
memoir is a lot more personal.
And you could think of it as autobiography is the story of a life.
Yeah.
But memoirs are stories from a life.
Yeah.
Right?
And they're hard to write because it's like you have to find like usually it's the most personal things that are the most interesting.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because it's like, ooh, I need to reveal this part of my life. So
yeah, and you have to do it in a way that can engage people.
Yeah.
And also like there's something about like really well written memoirs.
Yeah.
Where I feel like maybe I don't know if you feel this, but I feel like people don't really value memoirs as much as they do literature.
Yeah, they don't. And that kind of bothers me because I think lived experiences are really interesting. That's something I've always really enjoyed reading about. So I do like memoirs. And I always think it's interesting to view someone else's experiences and what they've learned from it.
But also, like, if you were to write a memoir, they can be written with the same kind of like sophistication, subtext, rigor as like actual literature.
Yeah.
Because like, the way to write a bad memoir is to write a biography. You know what I mean?
You have to like not embellish, but you have to have a certain creative flair to make it interesting.
Yeah, like I've been reading Barack Obama's first memoir.
Oh God!
Called "Dreams from My Father: A Story of Race and Inheritance."
Yeah, I read a part of it that I was not too happy about.
What do you mean?
One of the parts he talked about how he used like Marxism and stuff to like get girls on his floor, and I was like, "Oh, dude, come on!"
No, but
you're telling on yourself here.
But still, like the rest of it, it's a good read.
Yeah. Well, he was a phenomenal public speaker.
Yeah.
So
but also, he majored in English in undergrad.
I didn't know that.
Along with political science.
English majors can have jobs, guys.
Yeah. So, like I look at this, I'm also listening to it.
Yeah.
And like he can write, he can turn a phrase.
Yeah.
Like when like in the very beginning of the book, it's about him like in college at Columbia. Mm-hmm. Like a few months after his 21st birthday. Yeah. He's just like in the kitchen, he's making some eggs. And then he gets a call from his aunt telling him that his father, Barack Obama Sr., died.
Okay.
And then, like, there was a line that really struck me of, like, something, the voice, she hung up, and I tried to measure my loss.
Oh, I like that.
Because, like, she's calling from, like, Kenya.
Yeah.
And, like, Betty,
yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Betty, is your Aunt Jane?
Yeah.
Your father is dead. Click. Like,
oh, God.
wait, what?
Yeah, that's kind of brutal. That's a brutal way to go about that.
You know, so, like, you have to, like, even something as little as like that line of try to measure my loss.
You
because
need,
he couldn't
those
really
little one-liners that really stick out to you. Well, we talked about that in Dr. Striff's class last semester, where she would ask on, like, the peer review things, like, what's one part, like, you really remember, and, like, that would stick out to you years later, like, something you could remember from the piece. And until taking that, like, those classes with her, because we had the creative writing class with her as well, I never really thought about how important that is in writing, to have, like, one part that, like, would really stick out to people. So I thought that was cool, and it's interesting that Obama did that.
I think, like, I try to be a creative, quote unquote, creative writer.
Yeah.
Right? But the thing is, like, most of my energy and output is in screenplays.
Okay.
Which, if you were to read a screenplay, they're not very embellishy.
Yeah.
Because the point of a screenplay is to tell you what happens.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
And so, like, even though I'm not, say, a writer in terms of, like, writing prose and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's ever been my bag, but I want it to be.
Yeah.
Because, like, I remember a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was taking Survey 2 with Dr. Cinch, Survey of American Literature Part 2. Right?
Okay.
And one of the assignments was, like, responses to something, right?
Yeah.
And we were reading Woman Hollering Creek by Sandra Cisneros.
Okay.
Right? And, you know, it's like these women who are living in, like, terrible relationships, but they'd, like, watch these telenovelas. Right?
Those are great.
Have you read this story, Woman Hollering Creek?
No, but...
Okay. So, like, they're watching telenovelas, and they're like, oh, these women...
watch those. That's what makes me laugh.
These women, oh, they suffer for love, and it's all worth it in the end.
Well, yeah.
And part of my response, I think this is the first time I ever wrote a thing, like a turn of phrase that sounded like someone who could actually write.
Oh my gosh.
Actual prose. Like,
yeah.
Like, I said something like, if suffering is a bridge to happiness, then surely they need only stay long enough to cross it.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
That's very good.
And then I didn't even know what I wrote.
I like that.
So, like, I submit it, and then Dr. Cinch, when he grades it, writes back to me, like, I love this line. It's so Benson.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I guess I wrote that.
I guess I wrote that.
Nice.
It's the best when you write something and, like, you didn't realize that was actually, like, a really good part of your story.
Yeah.
It's always interesting when, like, you think another part is stronger, and then, like, you're in a peer review or something, like, someone points something else out, and you're like, oh, okay. So I always think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like, so I don't think I've ever, so I'm pretty sure I haven't written anything like that since, that one line. Because, like, if I'm writing about stuff, like, I'm not thinking about the best way to throw, like, a real, I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, I write, like, I'm able to put together sentences.
Yeah.
On a mechanical level, I'm able to
Good
put
job.
together sentences. But, like, it's always, like, informational writing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm basically trying to write a Wikipedia article every time I write.
Okay, see, that's where I struggle. I'm the opposite, which makes sense because I'm a concentration in creative writing. I have so much trouble, like, just straight up facts because I get kind of bored with it. I mean, it's nothing
Guys,
on the...
I'm bored by facts.
I like creative
I need
writing.
alternative facts to work with.
Oh my gosh, alternative. I need some fake news to work with, guys. I need some fake news.
I need facts that are not facts.
Yeah, if I want it, yeah. You know what? Maybe I should work for Fox News then. Yeah, no, I like creative writing so much because I like being able to world build and just...
really?
Yeah. So
Because, like, the way I consume way more... I guess like Wikipedia articles than anything else because I like the language, the economy of language that it has. Like, it's just facts it's objective. It's telling you what it is.
Oh, I'm the exact opposite.
And and I think because that's I'm so focused on the information.
Okay.
That I want to consume the information. I'm not looking for the flair.
Okay.
And when I do read something, I expect to be informational, and people are trying to put flair on it that doesn't really work for it. It comes off as a bit.
I love that flair.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it can be done. It's either like done really. There's no middle for that. You can either really do that dramatic flair like really well, or like you really mess it up.
Like you ever see like newspaper articles, and like, let's face it, journalists are just failed English majors.
Oh my gosh!
Because especially at this school, come on, because like I read.
Well, you're regurgitating information.
I read the University of Hartford newspaper, whatever it's called, The Informer.
Yeah.
And then I straight up first page stuff that's written by the editor in chief, spelling mistakes.
Really? I've never read it before.
And also like there are times when like journalists will write newspaper articles that are like that have really weird language that you like if they're talking about a pop culture figure like the name of song title singer says blank blank.
Okay.
And it's like if you were to say something about Adele or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, the Rolling in the Deep singer said.
Oh, I don't like that.
Like,
it just comes off awkwardly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Like it doesn't flow.
No. Yeah. And like it's also. It's not. It's like them trying to make. They're trying to put more information. But it's such an awkward placement. Yeah.
That's what we're learning in my creative nonfiction class. Like we just finished like our literary journalism, which is similar to that, but you do add like that little bit of like flair.
Yeah.
I really liked that actually better than just regular.
I think the point of if anyone is gonna write like creative nonfiction where you need that flair for it to be interesting.
Yeah.
When there is flair and it's good, you don't really notice it.
Yeah,
right?
That's the thing. You can't push it. If you're trying to push it, it's probably not going to come out.
The only time you notice it is when it's bad because you're like, why did they write this?
Yeah.
But in terms of like those lines in like memoirs that are like kind of profound and like you're thinking like that's a great way to phrase that.
Yeah, well, I think
you don't notice it in the fact that like you think it's great. It's just like it washes over. You're like, man, like I get what they mean, and that was an interesting way to say it.
Yeah, you can usually tell when someone's like trying super hard to be deep. Sometimes I think the most profound things that people say are the things that it comes right out of their mind because it's so genuine and raw. Like that's a raw thought that he had. Like, so. Or, I mean,
well, we don't know exactly what happened between him finding out the news and then writing the memoir.
Yeah.
But that's at least.
You know what I mean? It didn't sound like it was over dramatized and it felt very genuine and in place. And I think a lot of people forget that sometimes that you can remain true to a story and not make it like super dramatic. Sometimes it's okay to have things like that because I found in reading, like doing like peer review and stuff, the things I've liked most about people's writing is when you can just tell it was like an in the moment thing and they didn't try to do too much.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because that works better in like fiction. But when you're doing stuff based on like real life events, that's a lot more difficult.
Yeah, and like I said before, that line I wrote about women hauling creek.
I really like that, by the way.
It's like it was a thing that happened I'm just trying to write a response.
Yeah, but it worked out really well
for an assignment. But like, okay, but like it was. I didn't think about it. It was just a thing I wrote.
That's the best type of writing when like it just comes out of you. That's the best in my opinion. And it's the best feeling as a writer too when you go back and read it and you're like, "Oh, damn, that was good." Like or like someone points it out and you're like, "Oh, that I did do a good job with that."
Yeah, I think I fantasize about writing a memoir. and then don't do it or
memoirs are hard to write because the difficult thing I found, at least with in the class, is it's a tricky line because other people are included in your memoir. And it's like you don't want, at least for me, it's like...
You don't want to like misrepresent them.
I don't want to misrepresent them. And also, sometimes it just feels like I don't know what the line is between airing stuff that is super personal. Like mine was very personal and it involved another person. But my mentality at the same time as that is if your actions have consequences, and if you don't want someone to talk about it, you shouldn't act that way. So that's my mentality with memoirs. But it's also difficult because you're biased and it was your experience.
I think in the case of when you have memoir, like stuff you've written for like memoirs that involve other people that may be personal, that may be the I don't want to call it a mine that feels wrong, but like it's probably rich in the ore of what is writing. Of what is personal, creative, non-fictional writing. Right. But you do have to mind yourself. Like, be sure to like talk to whoever's in the story.
Yeah, so well, it's hard because sometimes you really can't. Like, mine was a traumatic experience, so I literally would not want...
unless, like,
It really depends on the form. Most of the time I've noticed memoirs are about a certain traumatic event that happened to people, and sometimes you really can't talk to the person because they're going to be like, how dare you try to write that?
Well, I mean, if you hate them and they hate you, then I guess it's all a wash. Just do it.
I'm not. I don't like the word hate. I don't use. No, I'm serious. I'm actually trying to stop using it because I feel like it's just such a strong word.
If you do not like each other, it's a wash. Just do it.
I just don't like them.
So like, I don't know. Like, say if you, I've heard stories of like this comedian I like, Mark Maron, who also does the greatest podcast of all time. Who.
This isn't the greatest podcast of all time? I thought it was.
Well, he has more fans than me.
You're getting there.
He has more fans than me. And he's sponsored by Squarespace. But he wrote a memoir, and like part of some stories in there were like about him and his girlfriend at the time. And like, of course he writes an essay about it.
Yeah.
And then he talks to her like, hey, I just want you to look at this, sign off on it.
Yeah.
Like, just because it's about us.
Yeah.
So it's like, it makes sense to do that. And then she was like, you're really misrepresenting me. Like, why would you write it like this?
Yeah.
And then, he I guess he was so in his own head writing, so inside the writing that he didn't realize how it looked. It made her look.
Yeah,
right?
That's the difficult thing because our experience with another person, we're always going to view it wildly different. Like, there's always a different version of a person somewhere else, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, how you appear in your own head is most likely not what you appear like to other people. So that's kind of my take on it. And that's the difficulty that's what I found to be difficult in that class. I like it, but it's definitely difficult to write.
I mean, was it, do you find yourself writing a lot of essays or stories about that include other people?
So I mainly focus on fiction. It's honestly only for this class that I really have.
In terms of this creative nonfiction class, did you find yourself more gravitating towards just stories about self or stories?
So we actually mainly had to focus on ourselves because we also had a personal essay as well. Okay. The last time I had written like something like a personal essay was my senior year of high school, but yeah, you typically do gravitate towards yourself because it is basically a story about you and an event that impacted you. In my case, mine took place over a span of like the summer of 2016. So while I did write about, I'm just going to call them a character because that's what they are in this story. I almost focused more on my experience and the things that were said and done to me. Like I focused on the literal facts that could not be argued of the situation.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I did to make it more grounding, and then how those actions or words made me feel, and the impact it had on me. So I did try and focus a little bit more on the facts because it helped me. It helped me write the piece more because even if someone hurt me in the past, I have a really hard time villainizing people. Like, I don't know. I struggle to do that because I never want to make I don't think people are
perhaps
black
that's a
and
good
white.
thing to struggle with that. But
yeah, I mean, I know some people are just like, they're just shitty people, but I still struggle with it at times because I know people are humans at the end of the day, even if they've done horrible things.
I mean, some of them, but
yeah, no, there are
like,
people who are just
who are lizards and
are lizards in disguise. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I mean, that's something I've struggled with in my personal relationships. It's like I have a really hard time fully disliking a person.
I don't know. Like, do you think that's because? Why do you think that's because?
Okay, this sounds like therapy. Wow, Benson.
That's
I don't know. I
podcast is supposed to be therapy for me.
Oh,
but now it's
gosh.
therapy for the guest. Yes.
Role reversal. I don't know. I just I don't like disliking people. I don't like feeling ugly feelings like that. I feel like they serve no purpose at all.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I can be angry at someone for a little bit of time, but I always prefer to work through it and forgive. Because I don't know, everyone makes mistakes in their life. Some worse than others, some much worse than others, but
in a similar way, there are people like in my life
yeah.
who I guess you could at a particular point you could say I hated them.
Yeah.
Right? But then I felt like that's too much time and effort on my part
Exactly.
to actively be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just stopped thinking about them.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, I guess somewhat on the same level, I also don't like doing it.
Yeah.
Saying I actively hate people.
Yeah.
But it's more of a, not because I want to be a good person about it, but more because like I don't want to, like that's time, energy, and space in my mind.
No, I definitely get that.
That could be put towards something else.
Yeah, and like that negative energy, it does nothing for you. And I think something a lot of people don't understand is that you can separate yourself from a person and not really necessarily hate them. Like for me, if someone's really, really hurt me, I will forgive them, but it doesn't necessarily mean I have to have them in my life.
Yeah.
And I think that's something a lot of people struggle with. They're like, oh, if you truly forgave them, like you would have them in your life. And it's like, that's just not really how it works.
Now, in my case, I'm not talking about forgiveness.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't think of, like, I don't really, I think of them as, like, I just don't talk to them.
Yeah.
I don't think about them. Because we're such, like, family members of mine who, there were such different people that, like, I don't understand why we are.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I totally get
So it's
that.
like, well, I don't. If they were not related to me, that means I would not ever speak to them
That's
because we're
some
different
things I
people.
think about. It's like,
you know what I mean?
if these people were not related to me, I know I would not interact with them. And that's why, like, I get irritated when someone's like, oh, well, they're your family. And it's like, yeah, but if you weren't my family, I wouldn't interact with you.
Yeah.
Like, just because I'm related to you doesn't necessarily mean I have to keep you around in my life.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't
have the
like
time
we
for
happen
that.
we happen both of us happen to come from cultures that really value like familial piety.
Yeah.
And so it's weird. Perhaps it's weird for people listening to think about that.
Yeah.
Like us feeling familial piety or obligation and it should not be a thing. But like seriously, think about it. If someone in your family you've never met who's been living on the other side of the world were to like die or something, would you be going to that funeral?
Probably not. I mean, I've never even been to Peru, so it's like,
So like you might not even hear about their death because like they're so far removed from you, physically, literally, and figuratively.
Well, a very small portion of my family came to the U.S.
Yeah,
it was just my grandparents, so it's like I don't have that full connection. The only connection I really had to a death there was my bisa when she passed away in 2016. But I had only seen her when I was a very young child. So but I think if like a cousin down there died, I would feel sorrow as in one, a life was lost, and also seeing it, the reaction of my tias and my mother and my grandparents. But I get what you mean, where it's like you wouldn't necessarily fly there immediately, and that doesn't make you right or wrong. It's just you don't have a connection to them.
But I guess this is where it gets murky because if you have like immediate family member who you've never liked, like there was never like, and like you're such different people.
Yeah.
You don't gel. You don't click. You don't like each other.
Yeah.
You don't speak to each other. What difference does it make if you are related? Because if you weren't related, you're different people. You don't talk to each other. Goodbye. Never meet with them ever again because you're not obligated to. Just because they're related to you, like not even.
I know you're expected to put up with so much shit just because you're related to them, and it's like you wouldn't put up with this if it were a friend. And it's
like if
what's
Ted Bundy's
frustrating.
siblings.
Oh God.
Bundy. No, I'm not.
Worst man.
I'm not gonna equate like just not liking someone to being a serial killer, but like seriously, what if they're legitimately a bad person?
Yeah.
Right. Like, but they're my second cousin's wife.
Going back to that
second
YouTube
cousin's
video.
wife's son's step nephew.
Yeah.
Who like does that do like if you can recognize and can also like have other people corroborate that they're just a terrible person.
Yeah.
What benefit do you gain from like being supportive of them, right?
Social acceptance.
From like, well, I don't care about that. So,
oh no, I don't either. But that's kind of the thing. It comes down to like societal expectations that this person's your family, accept them and love them no matter what. And it's like, it shouldn't work like that. I don't like that mentality.
No, it's like because
I honestly I don't have time for it.
No,
I simply do not have time for it. Like with schoolwork and like a job, like.
Yeah, like they're. I guess it comes down to the way I operate. Is like in terms of those people in my life who you would like. I guess all these normies would say normies, guys. All these like people with this mainstream view of familial piety.
Yeah,
would say no. They're your family. You are obligated. But like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
I don't like. They're not giving me the time. I don't have time for me giving them the time and not getting it back.
Why is it always the expectation? Of the person who's wronged or like the one who just it doesn't fit in with the situation. Why is it always expected of us to pull the weight for that? Especially when we have so much going on too. Like, there's just no excuses. Like, especially like we're adults now. Like,
well, yeah.
Adults adjacent, as my aunt likes to say. Adults adjacent. We're getting there. We're like, the bike with the training wheels.
Adultolescents.
Yeah, I like that too. But it's like we're really like pretty much grown up at this point, and I personally don't have time for that. Yeah. Yeah,
like I don't know. It's weird to think that like I think like we mentioned we had talked about in the previous podcast about like when my family tried to make me be a Buddhist.
Oh God!
Like,
yeah.
I think part of the reason why they were trying to do it was literally just because they couldn't leave me at home alone, right?
Yeah.
But now that like, I am somewhat an adult and like I would have a job or something. Like, you don't have to go. Don't worry, you don't have to go because you got work.
Yeah.
And like you have stuff to do.
Which is interesting.
So it's like, wait, so the only reason you were dragging me to this place to like kneel in front of a giant Buddha for 4 hours at a time.
Oh gosh.
Was because you couldn't.
That's so
I didn't have anything to do.
Catholic Mass is like hour and a half. I can't imagine 4 hours. Wow.
Or I don't know what it was. I wasn't paying attention.
Probably felt like that.
I was not paying attention. Because there's that also like makes me doubt like my parents the loyalty to the quote unquote religion, right? Because like you're saying you're like, so all I need is an excuse.
Literally.
That's literally all I needed. But a 17-hour house marathon, which I never told them about, but like probably wouldn't have been it.
Yeah.
But like all I needed was an excuse to not have to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the interesting thing about religion. It gets passed down like that. I mean, as you know, I am Catholic, so
I'm still sorry about it.
Oh my gosh. No, and I am very Catholic. Like I try to pray every night. I was actually just at church last week. I'm my little sister's sponsor for her confirmation, and for people not familiar with the Catholic faith, that's one of our it's a big deal, and you're like getting anointed with the Holy Spirit. They ended up canceling it anyways because of COVID. I was like, they made us go to the practice, and then they're like, we're canceling it, by the way, because the priest didn't feel comfortable with that. But that was actually the first time I'd been to church in like a few years. So I know that's very, very bad of me, but yeah.
Did you confess afterward?
I did not. No confessions. I don't even think they have confessions right now. They probably don't even want us like near the priest.
Confession via Zoom call.
Yeah, I'm just gonna Zoom him and be like, hey, no, you know what's crazy? So for my confirmation when I was like 15 or whatever, I was a sophomore in high school, so you're like 15, 16. We had to go to this like day-long retreat, and one of the activities was you had to go to confession with a priest. And I had to go into this like little room with this like super old man. Like he looked like he was 5 minutes away from death. Like just super droopy face.
Is this
and,
the same guy you told about on the other podcast?
Did I talk about him?
Yeah.
Where he yelled at me and
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, do you think you're perfect because you haven't been to confession?" I was like,
Well, let's reenact the conversation.
I was like, dude, I'm a literal child and you're yelling at me. Like, are you going to give yourself a heart attack? You look like you're 90 years old. Like, time to chill out, man. Like, deep breaths. But it was so uncomfortable. Yeah, that's one of the parts of the church I don't like. Because I really liked my priest at my actual church. But yeah, that man was a little... He was something else. But yeah, so I was supposed to be my little sister's sponsor, which is hilarious because technically, according to the Catholic Church, I'm not supposed to do that on the account of, being a lesbian, but it's okay. They don't need to know that. That's that is between me and God. That is not between me and the priest. Yeah, it's like you're not supposed to be a sponsor because, that's like a mortal sin or whatever.
So for confirmation, you have sponsors?
Yeah, so you have to have someone...
Because when I hear the word sponsor,
yeah,
it makes me think like someone's who's just went to alcohol or Narcotics Anonymous.
So yeah, it's definitely not like technically you're supposed to be like their spiritual guide, and you have to be. I know
spiritual guide.
I know it's like I don't talk
you
to her
mean
about.
God?
I'm her on earth. It's like
you're
an
her God on earth.
Oh my God, it's like an extension of a godparent. I think basically, like I had my aunt who I'm really close to be my sponsor. Oh my gosh, yeah. So you just go up there, like you go through the full mass. You have your hand on their shoulder or whatever, and then they get anointed with the Holy Spirit, which is just oil and stuff, and then
oil and vinegar.
I don't even know what it is. It's the Holy Spirit, Benson.
I'm trying to treat whoever's being confirmed as a sandwich.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so they put the oil on your forehead. It's very greasy.
Little wafer cookie from communion.
Oh, that too.
With,
yeah.
With oil and vinegar. Hot cherry peppers.
Oh God, no! The communion's separate. So
Genoa salami. And
the communion wafers are they are tasteless. I've not received that. I'm technically not supposed to receive that either. But you know
they're
what?
tasteless?
Yeah. Oh, you've never been to Catholic Mass? Yeah. There's no taste. It's just.
What the hell is wrong with him?
There's no taste. It's just like a plain wafer, and like I think you're supposed to let it dissolve in your mouth, but like it tastes really. It doesn't taste gross. It's
even
just kind
the food of the religion has to be bland.
It's not technically food.
It's not. Is it not?
Well, communion is technically the body of Christ,
which is bread.
Yeah, but they put it in a wafer form, and then you can also drink the blood of. Sometimes I talk about Catholicism. I'm like, wow, this is like really culty. Like I had a coworker over the summer. He's not religious, and he was asking me to like explain some Catholic stuff. And we have like 7 sacraments or whatever. And I was explaining them, and I'm like, wow, this does feel kind of cultish because like you're in the church from birth. Like I was baptized when I was like 5 months old when I was baptized. So like I've been in this for life. And then I went to catechism, which is like Bible study for like 10 years of my life. So yeah, I guess it is a little cultish because I have a friend who's like hardcore atheist. So. He talks to me about this stuff, and he thinks it's crazy. He grew up evangelical, so yeah, they're pretty hardcore too. They have long services. They have like 3-4 hour services. I can't imagine like even the 90-minute mass can be a little much. So
yeah, it's I don't know. I guess when you look at any religion, really through a modern lens, do they not all sound like cults?
Yeah, I guess you're not wrong with that. I think, yeah. I mean, I just
guys,
personally
only one dude, okay?
Yeah.
Just follow anything he says. That's a cult.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, I mean, technically,
anything he
we
says
don't just
is right.
follow Jesus. We follow like the Bible. The issue with the Bible is it's just been translated so many times that you never truly know what was originally said. Yeah, I guess that is kind of cultish. Jesus was a cool guy, though, He's a pretty cool dude. And we do follow the Pope, technically. Pope Francis. Pretty cool guy.
Pope Frankie.
Pope Frankie.
Pope Frankie the one.
Oh, so many Catholics actually really dislike him.
Yeah, I noticed.
Especially because he just came out and said, "Oh, he did the
He's
bare."
supporting civil unions. Right?
Yeah, he did the bare minimum by saying he said homosexuals deserve a family too, and it's like, yay, but at the same time, that's the bare minimum. But a lot of Catholics dislike him. Like
I think the
he's
bare minimum
demonic.
is saying don't stone them.
Yeah, please don't stone them. They deserve rights. They can have some rights as a little treat. Like just let them as a little treat.
As a little communion wafer.
As a little communion wafer.
That's their little treat.
That's their little treat.
Little rights that you take at communion.
Don't stone them, okay? I know it's hard to believe that you shouldn't do that, but yeah. So a lot of Catholics dislike him. So that's always been very interesting to me because he's pretty progressive for a pope.
Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe that's. I feel weird saying this, but maybe it's like trying to be political about being pope.
Yeah,
because he really wants to make sure.
Yeah, that's what my thing was. Like, I won't lie to you. I cried a little when I heard that because it just gave me a lot of validation as someone who was Catholic growing up and had a lot of like internalized homophobia. So like that was really freeing for me to hear that. But I do kind of feel like maybe he felt pushed. He's trying because my mom made a point to me one day, like years ago. She's like, they're going to have to start letting certain things fly in the Catholic Church because they're losing a lot of people.
And now the Pope is becoming the Roman Catholic Church's PR department.
Yeah, I'm just going to pretend I don't see that and act like it's his actual opinion. Yeah. My family, my mom is actually not religious anymore, which is funny because she got me baptized and she went to like Catholic high school and stuff. But my grandparents are her parents. It's funny. My grandmother is super obsessed with the Pope. Like my tia and her husband offered to come over and help her take down decorations from Christmas, and she said, "No, the Pope is on TV." And they're like, "You can just record that." And she's like, "No, Pope is on TV. You're not coming over." Like
Pope TV.
Yeah, Pope TV. No guests.
What if there's a? I want there to be a television network called Vatican TV.
Oh my gosh!
It's like the equivalent of C-SPAN.
Stop.
And it's just a ongoing
nonstop
stream
Pope.
Of like the inside of the Vatican.
Just follow Pope Francis around,
and also the cardinals.
Catch him on candid camera. I want to go to the Vatican so bad.
For what?
It's just so pretty. And, like, it'd be cool to, like, because Pope Francis, like, comes out.
And also meet Pope Francis.
That's, like, impossible.
Pope Frankie.
Pope Frankie, my dude.
Pope Frankie the
my
wall.
Man. Yeah, he, like, goes out on the balcony and, like, you can hold up, like, anything. And technically that's, like, he blesses it. Oh. I used to have a cross like that, but I don't know where it went.
I'd be holding up my lighter.
Oh, my gosh. Stop. It's a concert.
While he's singing some Latin hymn.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that'd be cool. Also, it's just so pretty there. I mean, it's Italy, so, but yeah.
Yeah.
Of course we ended up on religion again. Of course.
Maybe this has to be the tradition.
The tradition we just talk about religion.
We end up on religion at near.
Yeah, we near the end, and I'm like, okay, Benson, time for Catholicism. Are you ready?
Well, you said you have to be leaving by 1:30.
Yeah. What time is it now?
It's 1:07.
Oh, wow. Oh, that flew by.
Yeah. So, like, we have, in this moment, we can decide whether or not this is the end.
Okay.
Or we start talking about something else. And then, technically speaking, the end of the podcast is not us talking about religion.
Oh, that's a tough call. Wait, it's 1:07?
It is.
I do have to Grubhub something.
Okay.
Oh. Sorry, I got distracted. I got a text message. I'm so bad at not. Okay, I'm so bad at staying on topic. I actually talked about this yesterday with Professor Richards in my creative nonfiction class. She said something like, "You're an associative talker," which means like you jump from point to point and then lose the original point.
Yeah,
which I guess is fine for a podcast, but it makes everyday conversation kind of.
In fact,
difficult.
we talked about this minutes before the podcast started about how you.
Yeah,
you were like, "Man, I don't know what to talk about."
Yeah,
we jump around. It's like, yeah, that's the point, Ciara.
I know. I texted Benson last night, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. But you know what? It worked out.
The point is to not know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, you got to wing it.
You got to wing it.
Yeah.
Because I don't prepare.
I don't either. I was just hoping
because
for the
if I
best.
pull it off, I'm a genius. And then if I don't, well, I didn't prepare. And it's but also like the aesthetic is
Yeah.
I don't want this to be more than it is, especially in this context.
Yeah.
This is me talking to my friend.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just fun. Your friend who you tried to kill.
That's it.
The friend who you tried to blind.
I wouldn't say
Okay,
tried.
I'm a forgiving person.
I wouldn't say try. I wouldn't say tried. But
The look of horror on Benson's face, because I was like, hey, was that hand sanitizer? And when he realized what he did, the look in his eyes, it was pretty funny.
well, I mean, I was trying to spray down the microphone, and then I pressed it.
That's what he says.
And I noticed the microphone didn't have anything on it. I'm like, there's only one other place where it could have gone, and it's right across on the microphone. It was Ciara's face.
It's okay. Things happen. I've gotten like spray in my eye before, because I work as a housekeeper, and I got some spray in my eye before, and I survived that. I mean, this is a little more, head on, but it's okay. I feel like I would have gone blind at this point.
Head on.
I'll
Apply
probably
directly
flush
to the
my
eyeball.
eyes out. I'll just, throw some water in my face, but
I mean, like, we've been podcasting for at least more than an hour.
yeah.
You haven't gone blind yet,
I know, right?
right?
If I wake up blind, Benson, ooh, I swear to God, you will be hearing from my lawyer. I'm just going to go into Siri and be like, Siri, call Benson.
Wait, do you know any lawyers?
Huh?
Do you know any lawyers?
That's for me to know.
That
That is between me and God and my lawyer.
God is my lawyer.
God is my lawyer. God is my witness.
As God is my witness and my attorney.
Oh my gosh.
Because I'm picturing you trying to find a pre-law student to quote unquote be your lawyer.
Oh
And then,
gosh. I'll go back to because I started out as a politics and government major. I'll be
and then we go to a mock
I'll just
trial.
find one of them. Yeah, they can practice.
And Ciara,
Yeah.
that's not a real lawyer. This is
Well-
a pre-law student.
Well, you know what? It's good practice for them. Maybe
And then
I'm just gonna call my uncle. He's a sergeant. I'm just gonna have him arrest you.
Ciara, any verdict or punishment that is decided here is not real. You realize that, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
It is not legally binding.
It'll give me validation.
Yeah,
You know, it'll help my blindness a little bit. Let me not speak that into existence. My eyes, they're fine. They burned a little, but I'm good. I'm thriving. My eyes aren't red, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, and
we're good.
You can at the very least you can wash them out afterward.
Oh yeah, I'm
afterward.
gonna splash a bunch
After we're
of
done.
water in my face,
And,
which will be super pleasant.
Yeah. So I guess you got to go eat something and go to your what's the thing you have to do later
Okay, so I didn't register. I don't know if it's too late to register. So
for a virtual panel or whatever.
Yeah, because I'm so torn because of the pandemic. I want to go to grad school, but at the same time, it's I don't know if I should wait a year. I want to go to American University for
okay.
my MFA, which is in DC, but I'm still torn on it because I don't know if I'm going to move there. That's a whole nother.
And that's what this virtual panel is about?
It was actually discussing the MFA program, but I feel that's something
the MFA program at American University?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the creative writing chair. But
Okay.
I also feel like that's something I could find later. So we'll see how that goes because I'm still just so torn on what I'm going to end up doing with my life. So
Okay.
that's the struggle there.
Do what I do. Find 8 things.
You do a bunch of things. You have so much going on.
I mean,
Jack of all trades.
The full phrase is jack of all trades, master of none. So
You will be. You're getting there. You're mastering all skills.
I don't know. Some people might say it. I certainly
You're
don't.
nailing the podcast. Your podcast is cool.
I mean, sort of. I had to go bi-weekly, and
yeah.
then also do most, if not all, sessions remotely.
Yeah. Unlike the before,
The before times,
as you said.
guys,
The
when
before times.
when the podcast was alive and well.
Oh, it could be BC again before COVID.
That
We're bringing back BC,
Before
guys.
COVID.
You heard it first here. BC before COVID.
before COVID.
Oh, gosh. Please put that in the description. We talk a little bit about BC. BC times.
BC. BCT, before COVID times.
Oh, gosh. That feels like so long ago.
Oh, my God.
Like, I just can't fathom how quickly everything moved. You know what's funny? This actually isn't funny because I didn't want to be right about it. But I predicted this. I told, like, all my friends and stuff, I was like, this is going to get serious. Like, this isn't a joke. And everyone, like, I am kind of a germaphobe. I'll give my friends that. Like, I have a thing with germs, but whatever.
You have a thing against germs.
Against germs. You know, I'll use
the
hate
way you
for them.
worded it sounded like closer to, I have a thing for germs.
No. I hate them. But I'll use hate just for them. Just reserved for germs.
Hey, I like that band. The germs.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, because I had been following it closely since like January when it really started popping up.
Yeah.
And everybody treated me like I was being crazy. Because I was just constantly checking like COVID news. And then, everyone was like, it's just the flu cure. Like, you just have to make sure you wash your hands. I am big on washing my hands. I am that person who will wash it 4 times in a row.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
To the point that my hands dry out.
Oh my God. I don't know how I don't have dry hands. It's a miracle. You know, God said you have enough going on. We're going to give you soft hands. He said, you know what, you can have that little blessing right there.
We'll give you epilepsy.
We'll
We'll also give you soft hands.
We'll give you soft hands. I know you have a lot, but you know what? You have soft hands. You have that.
You're going to be, we're making you gay. We're making you epileptic.
Yeah.
But hey, you'll have soft hands.
At least you have, hold on to that. We know you're going through some tough times, but we'll keep your hands soft. Yeah. But it's okay. He's like, we'll give you the compulsion to wash your hand that many times, but they're still soft, so it's okay. And I said, okay, I'll take that.
Okay.
Yeah. It helps now, I guess, in the pandemic. Yeah. But I kind of knew it was going to get this bad, and everyone treated me like I was crazy. And I wanted to be crazy. Like, I didn't want to be right. But
well, the thing is, if you react properly to an incoming pandemic, afterward, it looks like you overreacted.
Exactly. Like, I went out and bought hand sanitizer. This was like February before it even hit us. And like, I went and bought stuff. And then when everything was off the shelves, I was like, well.
It's like, because it'll be like trying to disprove a negative.
Yeah.
Like, if you react properly, everyone will be like, you see, it wasn't that bad. Yeah, because we did something about it.
Exactly. When people are wearing the mask, they're like, see, not many people are dying. Like, and still a crap load of people are dying from it, but whatever. They're like, see, it's not that bad. And I'm like, because we're doing our part, and a lot of people are staying home, and we're wearing our masks. Like, that's why it's working.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to get through to people like that, because it's, I know a lot of like, an anti-masker person, so like people who don't take it seriously. It really grinds my gears, Benson.
Guys, it really grinds Ciara's gears.
It really grinds my gears.
Look forward to Ciara's podcast. You know what really grinds Ciara's gears?
Yeah, I'm going to start a podcast, and people can just come on and like
it's just you
shit on stuff. Like, they can just be like, this sucks. And I'll be like, yeah, it does. Let's go into depth about it.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Benson.
Oh no, there was an opportunity. I kind of messed it up.
Oh no.
Because you said shit on stuff. And then I was going to say, and then rant about it.
Yes. No, you could rant. Yeah, no.
Shit, no. Take stuff to shit on.
Like,
to physically shit on it.
Oh, okay.
And then rant about it.
Okay, potty humor. Okay, Benson, I see how it is. We've reverted back a little bit.
Where do you think I was going with it?
Yeah, so look out for that. Totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
All right, cool. You probably got to get going.
Yeah, what time is it? Ooh, 1:17.
Although I am glad this is about roughly the same length as the other one.
Yeah, consistency is key.
All right, just just one more thing. How do you feel about being a return guest?
Oh, I feel great. I love Benson's podcast, and I know that sounds sarcastic, but I do. I like talking to Benson. I
also enjoy talking to Ciara. The first one was really fun, and this one was also fun.
Yeah, it was also fun. If I come back, please don't try and blind me again. I would appreciate you not doing that, because I enjoy our friendship. I would like to still be able to see your face. Yes. You know?
Yeah. Well, you can't see my face now. So.
I can see your eyes. That counts. I can see your beautiful mask. See? I can see the beautiful blue. So it's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for being on the show again.
No problem.
And maybe the next time I have you on, we'll be in the after times.
I really hope we're in the after times.
Afterlife.
AT. No afterlife.
No,
we're not going
no,
there.
no.
We're not speaking that into existence.
Once things are not...
Fingers crossed.
When things are AC.
Yeah, AC after COVID.
Or AD.
AD.
After death.
Podcast even in death. That's pretty morbid, but...
No, well, I mean, it stands for Anno Domini, which is the year of our Lord, right?
Sure.
Okay. I know this. And I guess now Ciara knows this.
I know it now. See, I've learned something. I think I learned something last time too. I don't remember what it was, but I did learn something.
This podcast is about learning.
It's about learning and forging a strong friendship and talking about religion, apparently.
Yeah. Right.
So.
Yeah. All right. Let's stop.
Cool. I think that went well.
Yeah, except for the part where I tried to blind you. I mean, then again, that was before I hit record.
Yeah, I honestly kind of wish we got that on recording. That would be kind of funny to be like, "Hey, Benson, what was that?"